Okay, here we go. What I really want is for Red to stand next to the mounting block for me, and I can lead him up in different ways. But ultimately, I want him standing right here next to the mounting block. I'm gonna come up here. Now, I use a flag a lot because the flag is a desensitization tool. It's also a driving tool, but it's a great desensitization tool. Today, it's a fly swishing tool. That's gonna help him find a deeper, more meaningful reason to accept it. But here's the real work that we need to be doing here at the mounting block. Now, of course, ultimately sitting on him, riding him, all of that stuff. But if we wanna make the mounting block meaningful for him, he needs to come into this space and then let go of whatever tension he's holding on to. So we could stand here for 1,000 years waiting for it to happen, and it will happen, by the way. He will let down his guard and he will eventually say it's okay. And then I move, I just do this, and his breath is tightening and his neck comes up and his head comes up and he's skeptical again. So I could stand here and do the same work. We have different models of training. But the model I want to give you today is a little unorthodox. And it's very creative. And it's safe enough that you guys can take it at your pace and be successful. So here it is. Don't want the flag anymore. What I want is my hands. I'm going to reach up here, stabilize my mounting block. It's kind of swimming around there. I'm going to reach up here and work around his head. And again, you're right into those soft spots. And I want him to put his head down. But what I don't want him to do is hide down there. So he'll drop his head really suddenly sometimes. Not ideal. I'd rather him just sort of yield in a peaceful way and let me keep my hand there. So I squeeze or pinch to bring his head down, and then rub, rub, rub. Don't hide from me down there. Don't hide from me. Accept my hand as part of our training tool. Yeah? So we have that. We have the ears as well. We want to be able to rub those ears and look at him kind of hiding down there from the ears. So I can bring his head up with my halter or my bridle. And then I just want him to yield just there. Beautiful, just a little bit. So that's part of the practice. In the beginning, he would drop his head and hide, or he would brace against me. And I don't want either of those. I want him to just yield and then relax, yield and relax. So that's a lot of our training here at the mounting block. But there's one other tip I want to give you. And that's what we call tapping. We call it tapping because that's exactly what I'm going to be doing. I hold with one hand here, and I take my other hand, and I tap around the top of his eyes and even around his ears, all over his face, eventually. And I'm asking him to accept the tap and yield his head down at the same time. That's why I have two hands at work here. One is saying, come down, follow my hand. The other one is saying, this is safe, this is kind, this is just a different way of grooming. Now, horses don't love it, but you can't always do things the horses love. Horses don't always love this, but they do need to learn to tolerate this. What I'm going to ask him to do is to accept my hand all over his face and ears and eyes and mouth and lips, yeah? But then to accept tapping. And this tapping method, it's not my method, it's just something creative that you can play with your own horse, is meant to take away that electricity that the horse is holding on to. And they'll do one of two things. They'll either hide from it or they'll brace against it and pull away. But I want him to learn that it's safe. He's got flies today, so I can use my hand as a fly swish too. This is totally safe. All over, top of his head, down his nose. He's kind of pulling up into that, and then he comes back down, and then I rub him. And I might even, you do not have to do this, I do give treats from time to time. I need that tapping because when I go to get on, I go to climb on. You watch, he's gonna get a little bit tight. head up in the air. He's tensing. He's wondering, is this it? Is this the moment that we go together and I have to worry because I used to be a bronc, this horse. So what I really want is to use what I just did on the ground here on his back. A little tap, tap, tap reminds him, relax, go down, and breathe. What we do know about horses is that when their top line aligns with the ground, it becomes parallel to the ground, hips and withers and head, his breathing changes and his blood flow changes. His lower neck down here gets more relaxed. His posture turns into more of a posture of relaxation and compliance. And by teaching him that tapping method, he's learning. Every time I lift my head up, I just get this really light tap, 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 and I can relax and drop down. And the cool thing is he's licking and chewing, and he's accepting more. He's even presenting more of his body to me. Tap, tap, tap. So when I'm on his back here, and he's getting all tight again, I can just remind him, no, live in this neutral posture. And of course, it's coupled with something he might enjoy more, which would be a rub or a scratch. But the tapping it's benign, it's safe, and it's a gentle reminder, hey, don't live up here, just live down there. You can be super kind about it, you can be super rewarding about it, but ultimately we want his tolerance to be high. We want him to accept things that are out of the norm. And most people avoid that kind of motion around their head because it feels like negative. It's not negative, it's a neutral sort of tap, tap, tap. It's very neutral. And he can learn that things that go bump in the night don't have to startle him and make him worried for the rest of his life. Good job, Red. Here I'm going to come down and do it again. Just remind him, do it again. Remind him, say, hey, come on, live down here. There's other methods to get that horse to lower his head. I'm going to come all the way down to the front. Tap around his ears, his sensitive eyes and ears. There's other methods. So don't get stuck in this idea that there's only one way to teach a horse to relax. It just so happens that some horses get tense. And the only way they really truly relax is when you stimulate them and remind them that their tension doesn't need to reside inside their body and they can let it go. And they can bring awareness to themselves and their breathing. So that's what this is all about. You can trust my hands. There are lots of times scratching and rubbing and loving. But if I tap, that's safe. And you can even lower into that soft frame. Thanks. Bye.